Have you seen Manifest? Are you a fan of the show? Well, if you are, then you're gonna want to know about some of the behind-the-scenes stories. We all love some good gossip, and everyone likes to know more about the people they watch on their TV screens. So, grab a seat and let's talk about some behind-the-scenes action. First, how did the creator come up with the show? Well, this is a good question to start off our video. As we all know, Manifest has a pretty interesting plot going throughout the show, so he would have needed some motivation, right? Well, on a family trip 10 years ago, the show's creator Jeff Frey came up with the idea. Yes, this happened 10 years ago. He ended up coming up with the concept of the show, and when he would pitch it to television networks, it was continuously rejected. However, in 2014, following the disappearance of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, we all remember that, right? Because that's still a massive mystery. Well, after that incident, Jeff had an interview and said that his crazy idea now felt more relatable. Years later, he ended up bringing his idea to the public because they're always the best to help decide whether a show is good or not. Luckily, the public liked the show's idea, and a lot of interest began to swim around the show, so NBC finally jumped on board with the show. Did you know that the show was rejected so many times? What about how NBC only took interest because of the public? It's pretty crazy what can be accomplished when there are fans behind something. Why is it called Manifest? Another great question, why is it called Manifest? Manifest is a noun that refers to a roster of passengers for a boat or a plane. The verb make itself known makes people think that something is making itself known, like physical symptoms or destiny. The idea for Manifest is not entirely original thought. This is the fourth series where the pilot episode is about a crazy event that occurred on a passenger airline in the 21st century. If you've seen Lost, Fringe, and The Strain, then you know that this concept has been done before. Some of the other shows were also produced by J.J. Abrams, who produced the first two episodes of Manifest. Also, the final episode was produced by the Lost colleague Carlton Cuse. However, Lost was filmed in Hawaii, Fringe's plot episode was shot in Toronto, but set in Boston, with the rest of the season filmed in New York City. Then later, the season was filmed in Vancouver. The Strain was set in New York City, but most of the filming took place in Toronto. Where was Manifest filmed? Manifest was based and filmed in New York City. Did you know that about the filming of Manifest? I think it's pretty good that it was based in New York City and it was actually filmed there. I get it's expensive and difficult to film in New York City. So many shows go to Toronto for filming, but then just base the show in Toronto. Come on, it's a nice place. What do you think? Manifest may become a movie. On July 1st, 2021, Rake said that he wants to bring the canceled show to a close on the terms of his fans. Obviously, the cancellation took many people by surprise, but everyone was surprised that in June, after hearing about the cancellation, that Rake already had other plans. He told Entertainment Weekly that he was already working on preparations for a possible feature-length film that will finish up the narrative of Montego Air Flight A28. There hasn't been any buyer yet, so don't get too excited about this information. However, Rake is feeling pretty optimistic about the facts, especially because of the success that Manifest has actually had since it was released on Netflix. So, would you watch the movie if it came out instead of the show? Repetition of the number 828 and other aircraft terminology. If you've been paying attention to the names of the episodes, you would see that every episode has the number 828 or something similar to it in some form. An example would be Michael's apartment number is 414, which is one half of the total number of apartments in the building 828. See? Pretty spooky. Then you have the runway, number 28, which is where the jet takes off in the opening credits. This is a part of the number 828. The house number for Jared and Lords is 3528. Do you know what happens when you add 5 and 3 together? You get 8! See? There are so many signs of 828 in the show. Also, the episode names all have 828 in it because it is relating to airplanes or air travel in general. Except the pilot episode doesn't have that because it's simply titled Pilot. See? So the next time you watch an episode, make sure to keep an eye out for 828 because it's there. Did you catch on to 828 before you heard it in this video? Will you be keeping a lookout for it in the future? Keep watching because we have even more to talk about when it comes to Manifest. Why is the pilot episode called Bill Daly? Another great question. We've just got loads of good questions in this video. Well, Bill Daly is the name of the pilot that will be flying Flight 828. Bill Daly was a character actor who appeared on the Bob Newhart show and I Dream of Jeannie, which is where he played an airplane navigator and astronaut. Those are some pretty cool jobs there, Daly. So that's why they called the pilot episode Bill Daly. Did you know that? Can you think of any other shows that have named the pilot episode after someone? Josh Dallas is always playing characters that are younger than they seem. Josh Dallas is constantly playing characters that have been influenced by the passage of time and who seems to be younger than he actually is. On several different occasions, he starred as Prince Charming on ABC's television series Once Upon a Time, where he played a man in his late 20s who had a daughter that was the same age as him and a teenager as a grandson. Does that even make sense to the producers and creators? No? Okay, just checking. What do you think about actors and actresses playing the roles of someone who they maybe shouldn't be? Or are they too good at their job that we should just let it continue to happen? Robert Zemeckis has done these types of projects before. Robert Zemeckis is one of the executive producers of the series. As a director, he has a lot of experience with time travel and timeline aberrations, since he's worked on all 3 Back to the Future films. Yes, I can hear the penny dropping for everyone now. He's the guy that helped with the Back to the Future movies. He's also worked on Forrest Gump, amongst other pretty notable names. Also, to top off his already incredibly cool list, he's also a private pilot. That's right, and as of October 2012, he has accumulated about 1,600 hours of flight time. During an emergency landing, he once used a Cirrus SR-20, which is recognizable from the presence of a parachute that under certain conditions can lower the plane to the ground and save lives. Bet you didn't know all of that interesting information about Robert Zemeckis, huh? Did any of it surprise you? A few similarities and connections to Dallas's character. We're not done with Dallas just yet, oh no. Benjamin Stone is played by Josh Dallas and is named after the executive assistant district attorney Benjamin Stone from the Law & Order Special Victims Unit, which is also an NBC production. Also, Ben Stone is a doctor who is played by Michael J. Fox and Doc Hollywood, who also collaborated with Robert Zemeckis. Did you know about that interesting information about Benjamin? I bet you're a little surprised at that. I know I am. Answers that are unanswered in Manifest. Not everything in Manifest is known because that would be way too simple. I mean, in Manifest, there is no such thing as an unanswered question. The whole mystery that surrounds the passengers of Journey 808 received prophetic callings after being thrown 5 years into the future in the middle of the flight. This was one of the show's primary attractions, or it might be also one of its most significant mistakes. Apparently, after 3 seasons, fans have still never found out the ultimate meaning of it all, and with the cancellation of the show, I don't know if we will ever find out either. Also, Netflix doesn't seem too keen on picking the show up either, which means we're all going to be stuck. It kind of sucks because then we're always going to be left wondering what happened and why did it even happen in the first place. Well, that's the end of this video on Manifest. Did you know about all of this information? Did you pick up on all the sneaky links this show has made with people and with itself? Will you be looking for the Easter egg numbers after this? Let us know down below because we always want to know what you're thinking.